In the United States, this coin is known as 1 cent. At first glance, it looks like a very small and simple copper coin, but in reality it carries a deep historical value. This coin is not just money, it is a piece of American history that tells us about the time, the people, and the economic conditions of that era. The year 1925 was not an ordinary year for America. During this time, the country was changing very fast. Industries were growing, cities were expanding, and new opportunities were appearing. However, many farmers and poor families were struggling. Money during this period was more than a tool for buying things. Coins represented trust, stability, and confidence in the nation. That is why coin design and quality were very important. On the front side of this coin, you can see the face of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of the United States. He is remembered as one of the greatest leaders in American history. He led the country during the Civil War and played a key role in ending slavery. For Americans, Lincoln is not just a president. He is a symbol of honesty, sacrifice, and unity. Putting his face on a coin was a very big decision. Before Lincoln pennies, American coins did not show real people. In 1909, to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the U.S. decided to place his portrait on the 1 cent coin. This was the first time a real person appeared on a regular American coin. The 1925 penny is part of this historic Lincoln series, which continued for many years. On the front of the coin, the words, "In God We Trust," are written. This phrase shows the faith and belief of the American people. The word liberty also appears on the coin, representing freedom. Below Lincoln's portrait, the year 1925 is written, confirming when this coin was minted. On the back side of the coin, the words 1 cent and United States of America are clearly visible. On both sides of the text, there are 2 wheat stalks. These are known as wheat ears, and they give the coin its popular name, the wheat penny. The wheat design represents agriculture, hard work, and growth. At that time, farming was a very important part of the American economy, so this design had strong meaning. The 1925 Lincoln wheat penny was made from pure copper. This makes the coin feel heavier and stronger compared to modern pennies. When new, the coin had a bright reddish-brown color. Over time, because of use and age, most coins lost their shine and became darker. Coins that still have good color and sharp details are harder to find today. This coin was produced at 3 different U.S. mints. Coins made in Philadelphia do not have any mint mark. Coins made in Denver have a small D, and coins made in San Francisco have an S. These small letters are very important because they help collectors understand how rare a coin might be. The Philadelphia Mint produced a very large number of pennies, so those coins are more common today. However,
to truly understand the value of the 1925 Lincoln wheat penny, it is very important to understand something called mint marks. Many people ignore this small detail, but for coin collectors, mint marks are one of the most important factors. A mint mark is a small letter on the coin that tells us where the coin was made. This small letter can completely change the value of the same coin. In 1925, the Lincoln wheat penny was produced at 3 different mints in the United States. These mints were Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint had a different production quantity, and this is where rarity begins. Coins made at the Philadelphia Mint do not have any mint mark. If you look at a 1925 penny and you do not see any letter under the date, it means the coin was made in Philadelphia. This mint produced the highest number of pennies in 1925. Because of this, Philadelphia pennies are the most common and easiest to find today. Coins made at the Denver Mint have a small D mint mark under the year. 1925 Denver produced fewer pennies compared to Philadelphia. This means 1925 D pennies are harder to find. Because of lower production numbers, collectors pay more attention to these coins, especially if they are in good condition. Coins made at the San Francisco Mint have a small S mint mark. In 1925, San Francisco produced the lowest number of pennies among the 3 mints. This makes the 1925 S Lincoln wheat penny one of the most desirable coins for collectors. Even in average condition, a 1925 S penny can be worth much more than a Philadelphia penny from the same year. Rarity does not only depend on how many coins were made, it also depends on how many coins survived in good condition. Most pennies from 1925 were used every day. People carried them in pockets, spent them in shops, and handled them roughly. Because of this, many coins became worn, scratched, or damaged over time. Coins that show heavy wear, smooth details, or damaged edges are considered low grade. These coins still have historical value, but collectors usually prefer coins with clear details. Coins with sharp wheat lines, readable text, and visible facial features of Lincoln are much more desirable. Collectors use a grading system to judge coin condition. While the system itself can be complex, the basic idea is simple. A coin in poor condition is worth less. A coin in good condition is worth more. A coin in excellent or near-perfect condition can be worth many times more than a worn one. This is why two 1925 pennies can look similar but have very different prices. Another reason rarity matters is collector demand. Many collectors try to complete full Lincoln wheat penny sets. To complete a set, they need coins from every year and every mint. Because 1925s coins are harder to find, collectors are often willing to pay higher prices for them. This demand increases the coin's value over time. Some people believe old coins are valuable simply because they are old. When people hear that a 1-cent coin can be worth a lot of money, they often feel surprised. One of the biggest reasons behind high prices is something called minting errors. A minting error happens when a coin is made incorrectly at the mint. These mistakes are usually unplanned, and because they are rare, collectors find them very interesting. In 1925, coins were made using heavy machines and manual processes. Technology was not as advanced as it is today. Because of this, mistakes happen more often. Most errors were caught and destroyed, but some coins entered circulation. These surviving error coins are now highly valuable. One common type of error is called an off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not placed correctly under the stamping machine. As a result, the design appears shifted to one side, and part of the coin may be missing text or details. Off-center 1925 pennies are rare, and their value depends on how much of the design is visible. Another important error is the double die error. This happens when the die that stamps the coin receives the design twice but slightly misaligned. When the coin is struck, letters and numbers appear doubled. On Lincoln wheat pennies, doubling can often be seen on the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date. True double die errors are very valuable and should not be confused with damage or machine doubling. A weak strike is another error found on some 1925 pennies. This happens when the coin is not struck with enough pressure. The result is a coin with faded details, especially on Lincoln's face or the wheat ears. While weak strikes are less valuable than double dies, collectors still find them interesting if the coin is otherwise original. Some 1925 pennies show die cracks or die breaks. These appear as raised lines or marks on the coin's surface. They happen when the die used to strike coins begins to crack after long use. Each die crack is unique, making every such coin slightly different. Collectors enjoy these small imperfections because they tell a story of how the coin was made. Another rare error is the wrong plancher error. This happens when a coin is struck on the wrong metal blank. While very rare for 1925 pennies, such errors are possible. A penny struck on a blank meant for another coin would weigh differently and look unusual. These coins can be extremely valuable. Sometimes people think any damaged coin is an error coin. This is not true. Damage caused by use, bending, scratches, or heat is not considered a mint error. Collectors only value errors that happened during the minting process. Learning the difference between true errors and post-mint damage is very important. Error coins are valuable because they are rare and unique. Unlike normal coins, error coins were never meant to exist. Each mistake represents a moment when the minting process failed. For collectors, this makes the coin more interesting than a perfect one. Condition still matters even for error.